Whenever we walk Shiloh, we always have her sit at the doorways when we're leaving the house. We step out, she waits till I come back to get her, see how calm she is. Okay, she walks through without pulling. See how slowly I'm walking through the house or through the doorway out of the house. I'm gonna do a little left circle to close the door. You have to have her wait at boundaries and make sure that she stays calm like this, because this is where the walk starts. And if you put the leash on her and she pulls you out the front door and down the yard and through the gate onto the sidewalk, you're already lost, because the walk is starting off on the wrong foot and she's already hyper and reactive. And then of course the first dog or person she sees, who knows what happened, she jumps on them or whatever, and you don't want her pulling you. So when you start the walk this way, sit. The training starts when you put the leash on her on the inside of your house, and then she's already in a sit stay. As you open the door, you step through and step back, because you're accentuating the fact that that's your boundary, not hers. You never call her to you from outside. We don't do that anymore in modern dog training, because we know that it builds anticipation and it'll make for a very weak sit stay, because when you walk away, she's going to be on pins and needles just ready to race after you. So we want her to have the kind of sit stay where no matter where you go, she's calmly sitting there waiting for you to come back to get her and waiting for you to release her in a very specific way. So no calling her out of sit stays or down stays. Sit. She only goes through those boundaries with you calmly, like you just saw, without pulling. And then on the outside, we're going to have her sit, and then we're going to go, you're going to see us come out of the front gate and how we do the rest of the walk. Now we're coming out of our yard through our main gate. I said sit, she stays there, I step out, she waits until I come back next to her. You see how solid she is in her sit stay. She's waiting for me to come back and get her. Okay, she walks with me. See, she's not pulling me, rushing through the gateway. I'm gonna do a little left turn here. If you're by yourself and you have to close a gate or a doorway, just turn into her. And you can see how turning into her always keeps her next to you. There's no tension on the leash. It's super easy. Anybody can do it. If you turn right, you're going to be dragging her, and that is not conducive to a calm dog, and it's not a smart way to handle her, obviously. So now, always, even if you're going to make a right turn, she's on your left, you turn left to go right, and the leash stays loose. Sit. Also, we have an interesting little distraction coming our way. Hi. No. So, no thank you. No thank you. Anyway, here we are. Okay. She obviously doesn't have a big problem with people carrying odd things, just walking up to us out of the blue. I don't know if you saw the other one, but there was another one, the guy that came this way carrying phone books. And then you saw this one, and she barely reacted, which was really good. You know, we want a dog that is so calm out on the street that she's not barking at somebody or trying to jump on somebody if they approach in a weird way, in an odd way, carrying something odd, you know, unexpectedly like that. So I guess that was a good thing to show you. And of course, we didn't expect that. So we're at the curb now. We're having her sit. We always do this at the curb. Every time I cross the street, I just do this little 10-second little sit stay, okay, and then when we cross the street, we cross in what I call, okay, training mode, which means she walks next to you, she doesn't pull, okay. And then on the other side, I have her sit, and then we release her to be free. Go, and now the walk starts. So what you saw was we came out of the house, she waited at that boundary, we walked through the yard, we came through the gate, she waited at that boundary, there's a curb boundary that she waited at, she came across the street in training mode, and the walk started over here, and you see how calm she is? I know that you were walking her before, and you know she wasn't this calm when you were starting your walk before. So you want to do this, we do this every day, and then she starts anticipating every day this is the way it's going to be, and she'll calm herself down because she anticipates what you do every day. It's all about establishing that pattern, which here has already been established, and we're in the process of establishing this same pattern at your house now. But it's all about handling her this certain way and making sure you just do the sit stays and the boundary stuff, and you see her get calmer and calmer as you handle her this way every day. Okay. I am walking Shiloh, I do it the same way every time. Just to simplify things, if you handle her the same way every time you go out, it will soon become like second nature to you. And what I do is I put that loop over my left hand, and then I always have my right hand free if I want to say, come, and call her to me. Good. See how I called her to me? She got the reward out of my right hand, my left hand grabbed the leash, and I have her. And I could step into her and take her somewhere or get her back in the training mode or whatever I had to do. But if you always just handle her this way on a walk and keep the leash loose, that's a really important part, is that the last thing you want to be doing is this. If you start choking up, notice when we came out of my house, there's no choking up, there's no restraining, there's no tight leash. If you do that, she's going to get super excited and overstimulated again. And remember how excitable and hyper she used to be before the training. Well, that will come back eventually if you control her and drag her around or let her drag you around like this. It's all going to fall apart because it stresses her out. She can't think straight, and it's just none of it's good. So you want to definitely keep this leash loose. We have construction. I guess they're doing something in there, and so there was this nail gun or something they're using there. So she may bark, but that's a scary noise. So I don't blame her. But anyway, on a walk or out in public, this leash is always loose. Well, there's the guy now. Come. I'll just practice calling her away since we're here. Good. So always call her away from distractions on a walk. It's a great way to practice your recall. She already has a great recall, no matter what she's distracted by. Good. And then a lot of times she'll do just that. She'll see it, and before I can call her to come to me, she's going to come back my way anyway. Good. And you want to reward that. You want the whole lesson to her is, hey, any distraction makes her turn around to you and pay attention to you. That's the best way for the dog to be, instead of going over there especially. You want her to always know that all paths lead back to you. But that loose leash is really important. If she is pulling you, which she doesn't on me anymore, just do a little tap like that. Just tap it. You got this little tiny prong collar. It's the smallest size they make. It's tiny, very small. And you'll see how we use it in some of the other clips too. But it's not about causing pain or any of that. It's just about the tap. It's just about a tap. See how she turns around? Good. Second tap on the shoulder. I just tap it once, I back away, she comes back to me. It's all a very relaxed way to handle her, never a tight leash. And so make sure that when you're out in public, it's always like this. Loose leash. If you have a problem, call her back to come to you. Good. When she comes back to you, always give her a treat and say good and pet her all at the same moment. And you'll see she'll just keep getting better and better. Okay. We're walking Shiloh up to a new person. Sit. I'm going to show you this little greeting routine that we practiced with her. She's very excited. No. She pops up. You say no. You just reset her. Just step into her. Do that little reset circle. The reason that we do that is that when a dog makes a mistake, there's a little treat. That's for the dog. Don't eat that. When the dog makes a mistake and you step into her and turn her away from her mistake, so to speak, refreshes her mind so she can have a better try the second time, the next time. If you don't do that, she can easily get stuck in the same mistake and make mistake after mistake after mistake, and then that becomes a pattern, and that would not be good. So if she makes a mistake, you step into her, reset, and let her try it again. So we step away. We've already given the new person a treat. She waits till I come back next to her. I'm going to pat her chest, go say hi. She gets the treat. Come. And then I call her back to me. And then next time you can pet her with your other hand, because Shiloh doesn't have an issue with people. She loves people. No. Her issue is she gets super excited, and you can see she's way calmer than she was before, but still she gets excited. It's hard for her to focus. As you can see, she's having a problem with it. So next time, give that to her, okay? So when you give somebody a treat to give to the dog, make sure they give her everything you want them to give her, because the idea is that she stays there eating out of their hand for a couple of seconds, because you don't want her to jump or do anything else. So make sure the person actually gives her the treat. I'm just doing a little sit stay here. I'm going to send her back over, and you can pet her with your other hand while she's taking the treat, okay? Go. There you go. Come. Excellent. Good. Did she take it? Okay. Sit. So we practice this every day with different people. And Shiloh's getting a lot better about not jumping. She used to jump a lot and now she's not doing it. And I always try to throw a little sit stay in there as well because it takes a lot more focus for her to stay when I do a little sit stay, and then I send her over. Go say hi. Pet, treat, come. Good. If the leash gets tangled up, don't worry about it. Just deal with it when she comes back to you. Sit. Do this with as many people as you can that come to your house. The more these greeting routines you do with her, the better her sit stay is going to be, the more calmly she'll be meeting new people to your house. It's best to do this greeting routine on more neutral territory, like on your driveway or out in front of your house like we are doing. The worst place to do it is inside of the house where she's in a closed-in area and she's more likely to get extra excited because that person walked through the front door. That's the worst place to introduce her to a new person. So always do it outside, even if it's in your yard or in front of your house. Go. It's so much better. Good. Come. Good. And as you can see, this is sit. A great way to practice or sit stay in a different kind of way, but in a real life situation. And also sending her over. That command go is actually a command. Nope. Practicing her sit stay in an exciting situation, meeting somebody new. And then also come. That's a great command to be practicing whenever you can, because that, rock solid recall, a come command could save her life someday. So you have all that in this little exercise, and it keeps her thinking, keeps her calmer, and every time she meets a person in a respectful way like this, then she's way less likely over time to jump on people, mouth them, be obnoxious. So we're just going to send her over one more time. Go say hi. Come. Good. Sit. We always have Shiloh sit at doorways. Coming in, going out, see how I had her sit. She waits till I come back next to her. Okay. And see how she's not pulling me through the doorway. If she rushes through the doorway with you, the most you have to do is a little tap. Just do little taps. Everything is very gentle but firm, but gentle. And the leash is always loose. You always keep a little bit of slack on there. And then I'm going to do another left circle here, have her sit in front of the mat. Once again, loose leash always, you're never restraining. Go to your mat and down. So you walk her over, you say down. She's very excitable, so she might kind of shift around for a couple of minutes or so. Good. Or a few seconds while you first put her on there. With you though, you may, when you're doing this exercise, she may be really excited at first for the first minute or two until she settles down, settles into this exercise. I usually do it for about 5 minutes. If she's like that and distracted, you say no. Do a little circle like this, and gently but firmly put her back. And just continue the exercise. See how I'm rewarding her? Good. It's all about being calm. It's about the delivery of the reward as well. Be calm. Don't throw the food down. Don't let her take the food out of your hand. See, I'm holding it in my hand and I'm just placing it on the mat like this. Nope. She goes near your hand, you say no and pull it back. Good. So all you're doing is you're placing it on the mat, letting go of it, and withdrawing, and she takes it off the mat. And you notice I'm walking around here. This is just kind of the warm-up part of this exercise. But even this is really good because you probably know that most dogs can't stay in a downstay when you walk behind them. But of course she has that. That's just a basic skill, and we've built upon that over the weeks that she's been here. So she can handle a lot more than this. Good, but we always warm up with doing that. And so once we're warming up and she's kind of in the groove, and I start doing things like walking way to the back of the house where she can't see me, coming back, and it's okay if she turns to look, but as long as she doesn't turn her body, And then always come back to where you started, which is in front of her, and reward her. Good. Now I'm going to go back here. It's in the back of the house, and close the door behind me and knock on the door. If you're ever going to do something that you think is difficult for her to handle, it's okay to remind her what you want her to keep doing. So before I go back there, I'm going to say, down. Go back here, close the door behind me. Lock the door. She stayed there. Excellent. Come back to exactly where I always reward her in front of her. Reward her on the mat. Good. I'm doing it to the side of her so you can see, but normally you'd be doing it between her 2 feet or right in front of her. Good. It's actually even easier that way, and you should reward her like about this far away on the mat, so you're not like right under her nose like that, because that would be harder for her to back her head up to the appropriate distance from the treat. So now we're going to start doing the hard things. Down, going outside, knocking on the door. Gets a reward for that. Good. No matter how crazy the distraction is, the noises you make, whatever you're doing, when you come back to reward her, you be calm, because it's the reward, it's the delivery of the reward that really matters, and it's about you being calm throughout the whole exercise. Down. This is always really hard for the dogs to handle, me coming to the window and knocking on it. I'm also going to try the mail slot and the doorbell, because I wanted her to make a mistake. Good. I wanted her to make a mistake to show you what to do when she pops up. So let's do everything and see if I can make her pop up. Down. Do it in reverse. Door knock, doorbell, mail slot, mail flap, knocking on the windows. Well, she's certainly a lot calmer than she was when she first came to us, obviously. She can handle a lot of distractions. Good. And you probably can't see it, but the rewards that I give her for these types of things, which are pretty difficult things to sit through, distractions to sit through, the rewards are bigger than just the normal rewards. So the one where I was giving her one where I was walking around were just little pieces, and these are twice as big, because if she does something harder, give her a bigger reward. She knows the difference. So I think this might trigger her to get up. I'm going to sit down on the sofa. Good. Okay, so she made a mistake. When she makes a mistake, you say no. Gently but firmly, just put her back, because she knows how this game goes, and she does look at this as a game. This is something we've done every day. She knows she made a mistake. Nope. And that actually is a distraction I have never practiced. So see, I'm stepping into her and resetting her. She was a little bit tangled in the leash, so I had to get that untangled, and she just kind of stepped out of it, and then the leash was where it should have been again. And I reset her and I put her back. Good. You see how she started to get up and then she stopped herself? That's really good. That means she's really thinking. I'm going to give her a big reward here. Nope. Good. No matter how crazy that is, though, I still came over. I calmly rewarded her. I insisted that she be calm, because of course she was kind of, excited, and if I would have thrown it down and she would have grabbed the food, it wouldn't be half as good, because this is really about her practicing this 5 minutes a day or 6 or 7 minutes a day, whatever it ends up being, and having this period of calmness through these big distractions. When you release her out of this exercise every day, she gets just a little bit better every day, and that's why this has to be continued. Good. And that was something that I've never practiced before. And you can see all these other things I have been practicing, but in your house, even here, I could probably do dozens of other things, but you get the picture. If there's something new that you found that triggers her to pop up or she can't handle, you keep practicing with it and keep resetting her and putting her back, and when she has a success, pay her off. And you always end on a success, by the way. And I'm sure that she's been on here way longer than 5 minutes during this video, so I'm going to just finish up with kind of a cool down, walking around her like this. By the way, anything she learns on this mat, she's going to do out in public. So once she's good on the mat like this, then we're practicing in different parts of your house, out in public, on the sidewalk, wherever, and she starts getting really good at down stays and sit stays out there as well because of all the practicing we did here first in the house. So it'd be a good idea. Nope. Good. It'd be a good idea for you to do this too. Just do it 5 minutes a day. So to release her, the only way that she leaves this down stay on the mat is when I stand next to her, tap my leg and say, okay. And then we're going to let her have some free time outside. Sit. And of course, every time here that we take her through a doorway, you always do the same thing. Takes you an extra 5 seconds to do. She waits till you come back next to her. Never call her out of a sit stay to you. That'll destroy her sit stay. Causes anticipation. It's a very old-fashioned thing where they told you for some reason that makes you dominant. No, this is what makes you dominant. She waits to be allowed to walk through with you. Way more dominant, and you have much better skills to show for it as well. Much better powers of concentration if you do it this way. Okay. She walks out respectfully with you, not pulling you. See how it's loose? Sit on the outside, and on the outside, you release her to be free. Go. And she has a little free time in the yard. Sit. So always have Shiloh sit, because this is another boundary training exercise with the crate. Open the door, see how she's waiting. She's on my left, so with your right hand, go. Send her in. She loves her crate. In her mind, good. Give her a treat, of course, every time that she goes in. Every interaction involving her in the crate is super positive. So in her mind, this is the most awesome place to be. We feed her in there. Of course, you're always going to feed her in her crate because this is her den, and dogs are naturally den animals. So you would do everything that would happen in the den. Bones, chewies, favorite toys, whatever she loves is in there. And then you have a great way to manage her whenever she's in the way, or you have guests that don't like dogs, or it's time for bed, or you're eating dinner or whatever. She can go in a crate in the other room, chew on her favorite bone, maybe eat her meal time when you're eating, whatever the situation is, and she'll love it, and like she loves her crate already. So just continue this at your house. And as you know, because we've already been making visits to your house, she is going to try to get back to the way things were before, where she had control of the whole place and she got to do what she wanted. And so she may bark a little bit in the crate at first, but you have to stick it out and show her this is the way it's going to be here. And you know, she really needs that stability, and she needs you to show her that you're going to do it exactly the way we're doing it here, and she'll give in, and you'll have what we have here if you just stick it out and make sure that you stay consistent and do it our way, and then you'll have what we have on the video. When you're going to take her out of the crate, and I of course am using this little mini prong collar here. It's the smallest size they make. It doesn't cause her pain, as you can see. That's not why I would use it. It's not for correcting. I don't correct usually at all, but it does make it a lot easier to handle her, especially for people that never have had a dog like this who's very high maintenance. Because it closes with the same pressure all the way around, not just here like other collars. It's on the back as well. So when you do a little prompt with the leash like that, it closes all the way around, and it's like putting power steering on your dog. So it's a great thing to use. We take it off when we put her in the crate. We put it on when we are going to take her out of the crate. We also teach her to respect this boundary so she doesn't come out. And so she's excited right now because of the situation with the camera person and everything. So sometimes you might have to do those little, I call them token slams, what I just did, just kind of closing, like letting that door bounce a few times to remind her to wait. And then if she does wait after you put the leash on, good. You reward her for that. And then this is a great little exercise. The leash is on, the door's wide open. Good. Always give her the reward inside so her head's not hanging out, because you'll train her to hang out of the crate then. She has plenty of room in there, so she can go back there. Always make sure her head and everything is in there to get the reward. And then she's going to wait until you pat your leg and say, okay, and then she'll come out. So you see how this is just putting her in and out of the crate. is a mini training routine that really helps add structure to her life. Don't just let her run in and out of the crate. It's not a big deal if the dog goes in the crate. Dogs love their crates, most of them. And if the door's open all the time, very often they will just go in and out. So that's not special. But to actually teach her to wait for your permission to go in and out and control that boundary and establish inside the crate as the favorite place on the planet for her to be. She sleeps in there overnight. She's in there every night. Now she's been here about 4 weeks. And she eats her meals in there. And like I said, all of her chewies and everything is in there. She loves her crate. And then you can control her access in and out. And it's another way that she perceives you as being the boss, because you control her access in and out of that really cool place. So, as you know, she's pretty wild, and she is a puppy, but she's also a very spirited, energetic dog. This kind of stuff really helps, because wherever you can, so you don't have to struggle with her and correct her all the time, you manage her life so that she perceives you as the boss, and this is one of the ways that you do that. And of course, if I wasn't talking to you, I would already have put her outside, and that's why she's getting antsy. But that's how we put her in, that's how we let her out. Those are the basic rules of the crate. And now we're going to let her go outside and run around some more. Okay.